This is a GameCube game. But look closely. It's not just any GameCube game. It's special. It's unique. It's a broken piece of shit because it went through some game store's resurfacing machine. I couldn't even finish the tutorial section for Tony Hawk's Underground 2 before encountering a disk read error. That's fewer than 5 minutes of gameplay. You mean to tell me that a game store took the time to put this with the rest of its locked games and not play 5 minutes into it to find out that this doesn't work? Over the last couple years, I've taken to collecting GameCube games. Part of me wants to say it's to heal my inner child. As a kid, I traded in Star Fox Adventures. Why? I thought the game was scary. The intro section where Crystal's running through that tomb with the dying dinosaur, yeah, that freaked me out. And I regret it ever since. On top of that, my GameCube collection was abysmal. I think I had 6 to 8 games at the time, compared to my 30 or so PS2 games. This was despite the fact that Super Smash Bros. Melee, Pokemon Coliseum, Super Mario Sunshine, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, they all are among some of my favorite games. Okay, maybe not Pokemon Coliseum, that one's just weird. From 2023 to present, I picked up about 20 GameCube games, including Star Fox Adventures. Most of the staples are here. You got Kirby Air Ride, Mario Kart Double Dash, every Sonic game you can play, except for the double pack with Super Monkey Ball. But I do have Super Monkey Ball, and we all know that's basically a Sonic game. Sure, there are a few titles I'd like to pick up, P&O 3 being one of them. It's kind of like a precursor to Bayonetta if you think about it. It was produced by Shinji Mikami, who's known for Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, all that good stuff. But I think I'm done collecting, and it's all because of disc resurfacers. Okay, that's not entirely true. Yes, resurfacing machines are the bane of the existence of Nintendo's optical media disc. These GameCube games are so small, and they're not really made to be used in those full-size resurfacing machines. But really, I think all this starts with the origins of GameCube games. I'm not talking about developing them, publishing them, printing them, and shipping them to stores. I'm talking about when the kid gets them from the store, takes them home. What do you think those kids did with them? What do you think the parents did with those games? For Nintendo products in particular, they kind of treated them like toys. I love the GameCube. I think it's a weirdly charming looking console. I mean, it had a handle. Everyone talks about the handle. It had a handle. It's great. But you can't deny that GameCube and the N64 in particular, Game Boys, they all had this air of being child friendly. They were colorful. They were made of Nintendium. You can't break a Game Boy. I've tried. But they really appealed to kids and the things kids did with their toys. So instead of someone like me keeping all my games in cases, it was common for kids to put their games in sleeves. I should note, it was those grubby little kids' hands scratching up the discs, putting them in sleeves. That's the point here. While consoles like the PS1 or the Sega Genesis tried to appeal to an edgier, more adolescent demographic, Nintendo has always been for kids. Sure, adults can find enjoyment in Super Mario Bros. Games or Mario Party, but by and large, the demographic is always skewed towards kids. And the brightly colored sprites of the games, paired with the brightly colored consoles, is perfect fodder for a kid's room. Personally, I've only ever defiled 2 games, one of which I have here, Pokemon Blue. I was so taken with making cartridges faceless, taking the labels off of them, and I kind of regret it ever since. I did a pretty good job as a kid of realizing that I wanted to keep this stuff and keep it in its best condition as I could, but not every kid's like that. It's not uncommon to see Nintendo products in used game stores that look kind of like this. Gnarly cases, scratches all over them. I mean, what happened to Shadow the Hedgehog? This is insane. And no, the disc doesn't work. I've tried. It's disgusting. Nintendo products enter a realm of being more than just well-loved. They're given the squeeze of death, and that leaves them oftentimes beyond the point of repair and savior. It's not as much a problem for classic Nintendo stuff. I mean, I feel like cartridges have a bit of a longer shelf life to them. At least they're not as fragile as discs in some regards. And even then, Nintendo's done a halfway decent job, all things considered, of preserving these cartridge-based games. Nintendo Switch Online has a lot of Nintendo 64, SNES, even now Game Boy Advance and Game Boy stuff. No, it's not an exhaustive list, but it's a little bit easier than having to break out the original hardware to play some of the titles you love. But as of March 2024, Nintendo doesn't offer most of its GameCube offerings anywhere. Yeah, Super Mario 3D All-Stars had Super Mario Sunshine, and you can find Pikmin and things like that, but by and large, the games that you played on GameCube just aren't playable. I'm not here to tell you one way or another about that, but I am here to say that GameCube collecting has gone a bit too far. It's a bit too rich for my blood. I love having physical copies of some of the best games in Nintendo's library, but I hate that it's a gamble to figure out whether or not the game's going to work once I get it home. I've actually decided to prioritize collecting PS3 games moving forward. I got a copy of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance a couple months ago, straight from Amazon, still sealed in the plastic, for $13. I want to do my best to preserve these games as long as I can, but at the end of the day, what's the point of preserving them if you can't play them? So what do you think about GameCube collecting? Is it something you're doing? Is it something you're avoiding with a 10-foot pole? Leave a comment, let me know. I'd tell you to follow me somewhere, but I don't really do all that social media stuff. What kind of video would you like to see next time? I'm trying out this newer, less scripted version of PressB videos. So far, I'm enjoying making them. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.